The success of The Hills Have Eyes allowed Wes Craven more mainstream work, which came in the form of a made-for-television movie. A Stranger in Our House was made for NBC and aired on Halloween night 1978. It was written by Glenn M. Benest and Max A. Keller. Based on the 1976 novel Summer of Fear by Lois Duncan, the story is about a teenage girl named Rachel. Her cousin, Julia, moves in with Rachel's family after the death of her parents. But mysterious things begin to happen, leading Rachel to believe that Julia is a witch. Like many American TV projects of the time, it was released theatrically overseas using the Summer of Fear title. I will be referring to it as that since that's what's used on Amazon Prime. In retrospect, it might not seem like directing a TV horror film for NBC was a big deal, and that's certainly fair. But all Craven had worked on by this point were no-budget independent films and porn. A movie for NBC was a big deal, and allowed him an opportunity to work with a more seasoned cast and crew. Craven said, "It was just really learning the craft. That's where I first shot in 35mm. It was the first time I ever used a dolly. I was working with things I never even realized existed. So I was 1, making some money to survive, and 2, learning how it was done by the grown-ups." The thing that is most notable about the movie is that it stars Linda Blair as Rachel. It's these two horror icons working together. Unfortunately, that ends up just being a neat bit of trivia, because the movie's not great, and neither is Blair. Obviously, Blair is a crazy talent. She's incredible in The Exorcist, and also does well in Exorcist 2, despite that film's nonsense. But she really struggles in this. The line deliveries are awkward and stilted in a lot of places. She's not the worst. That honor goes to Jeff McCracken, who plays Rachel's boyfriend, Mike. He's pretty awful throughout. Lee Purcell is okay as Julia. Spoilers, but she is a witch, and she has some fun being the over-the-top villain. Also, Fran Drescher is in this. She's fine. It's hard to know where to start with why this movie doesn't work. I think a lot of it has to do with pacing. The movie is insufferably slow and uneventful. It takes forever for the plot to go anywhere. This is not helped by Rachel's utter stupidity. She finds a wax figure of her horse in Julia's dresser, some sort of voodoo doll. The next day, the horse mysteriously freaks out, which ultimately leads to its death. And a month passes before Rachel really connects the dots and tries to do anything. She doesn't even do anything clever or cool to defeat Julia. She's outsmarted the entire movie, and then gets lucky that Julia is a terrible driver. Speaking of Julia, she's an awful villain. Spoiler alert number 2, she's not actually Julia. She was the housekeeper for Julia's family. She killed Julia and her parents and is currently posing as Julia, which seems like a pretty elaborate plot, but all she seems to want is to date Mike and fuck Rachel's dad. And I'm not sure why. There's no discussion of either being rich or anything. She's just evil, but not in a world domination way, more of an inconvenient nuisance. She has all this power and goes through all this trouble just to be with a couple of average guys? There's no point or purpose to the story. Julia also just gives the fuck up. She crashes her car and it looks like she's dead. But the movie ends with her going to a family as a governess. So why did she give up on Rachel's family? Another element that holds the film back is presentation. The film was released on Blu-ray back in 2017, and I assume that version is what's on Amazon Prime right now. But it's really bad quality, it doesn't look great, and the sound is really bad. It's peaked in a lot of different areas to the point where some scenes are unintelligible. There's a scene where the horse attacks Julia, and it's a very kind of frantic, hectic scene with a lot of screaming, and it's impossible to understand what anyone is saying because of how bad the audio is. And I know it's a TV movie from the 70s, but I've seen other ones that look fine. In 2007, the foreign theatrical version of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was released on DVD, and it looks and sounds pretty damn good. But this one is rough. I've certainly seen worse movies. At worst, this one is unremarkable. It's slow, unambitious, and lame. It's just a shame that this is what resulted from these two horror icons working together. Hi, if you enjoyed this video, please like and share it. If you want to be notified about future videos, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.